Hello my tarot friends, it's Justin Michael. Welcome back to my channel, and of course welcome if this is your first time visiting. I appreciate you stopping by as always. I have a couple decks I want to show you that I got in my collection in about the last week and a half or so. One of which was a Kickstarter project. I actually backed this twice on Kickstarter. That's kind of a long story. But I'll just tell you quickly. The first campaign kicked off during the worst time during the COVID crisis, and it just was unsuccessful because everybody was busy watching the news and stuff. But it came back for a second time, and I was happy to see it go through, and I finally got it after a few months. So we're going to look at that in just a minute. But first we're going to look at this deck here, which I'm really, really excited about. It's called Lifeline Tarot by Thomas of Hermit's Mirror. I first sold over at Tom Benjamin's channel like a week and a half ago or whatever, and I bought the deck before his video even finished. I was so excited about it. So it's a black and white deck. It's monochromatic. And it's based on the original Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. It's drawn with one continuous single line, like without taking the pen from the paper, sort of like an etch-a-sketch kind of thing. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. But, you know, it's been a while since I've really been excited about a Rider-Waite-Smith deck because there's just so many, you know. It's like every week there's something else with Rider-Waite-Smith. But this one is really exciting for me because it's different. You know, it's a very unique deck, and I'm just very happy to have it, you know. So it's a pretty standard tuck box it comes in, and I'll leave the links below for the store and so forth. It's bridge size, which is cool, you know. So it's not quite the size of it's smaller than a poker size deck, but it's larger than some of the minis that you'll get, you know. And the card quality is just amazing. The backs are really, really nice. These are like labyrinths, which is sort of part of the theme of the deck, and they just feel really nice. It's like bicycle quality, you know. They feel really nice. Part of the reason I like this deck was because I thought there was a lot of potential to sort of intuit with it, you know, read with it intuitively. Because like if you read with the Rider-Waite-Smith a lot, like I do, I mean, I have so many decks, but a lot of times I reach for a Rider-Waite-Smith. You know, it's like Old Faithful, you know, either that or a Tarot Morandi, but it's a little different, you know. It's got like a different twist, and the thing I like about it is, you know, like take for instance this Fool. You know, you have the sort of standard kind of symbolism for the Fool, but his foot is attached to the cliff that he's standing on, you know. So if he takes a leap forward, he'll just like dangle, you know, like that kind of thing. So there's a lot of little nuances. There's things left out. It's a very, very cute deck, and so you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. But and this kind of art it can't be that easy to do. I mean, unless they did it with a vector brush, which is possible, you know, and they just were able to connect a line somehow. But I think this was probably drawn in a way where, you know, it was just one continuous line. I mean, whether he did it digitally or, you know, freehand doesn't really matter, because the concept remains the same, and it's cool anyway. You know, it's just a cool deck. So I'm just going to show you and maybe share some thoughts. So we're going to go through pretty quickly because I do have a couple of decks to show you. And I want to keep this video under like 15 minutes. It's really interesting. There's the Lovers. And that's really cool. The Chariot. This one too, the Wheel of Fortune, I really like. I mean, that must have been really a challenge to do. And we have Justice and the Hangman with no face, basically. Death. It's the kind of thing, you know, if you sit with them and you look at them, you can really find some stuff and really pick some stuff out. I'm actually planning to read with this deck this week. It's going to be like for my daily readings, I'm going to use it. I haven't used it yet because I've been waiting to film this video, but I have been looking through them. And I just find it to be a very interesting deck. Judgment and the World. Okay, so here we have, you know, Pixie's standard Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, but you have, you know, a few differences. Like, for instance, I'm going to show you in the Three of Wands here. You have a figure standing there, but not really. You just have a hand sort of gripping the wand. And you can think like, well, you know, maybe it's like, you know, how the Three of Wands is like, you know, you're waiting for your ship to come in, and you've put something out into the world and you're waiting for a return. You know, maybe it's something you're not present for. Maybe it's something, you know, that you're responsible for. You know, your hand was involved, but you know, you're just, it's out of your control now, you know, and you just have to wait for it. Like, that's what I get from that, you know. And you can do that in so many different ways. It sort of changes the deck a bit, you know. Well, I wouldn't say it changes it, but it puts like a different kind of spin on it. And it's just very cute. It's well done. It's very minimalist and cool. All the core cards look great. Oh, that's really cool. So you have like no figures in it. You just have the church window basically. Really cute. I have a feeling my Rider-Waite-Smith fans will. I love the Nine of Pentacles. My Rider-Waite-Smith people will probably like this. I think it helps to be familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith. Okay, here's this was mixed in. This is the Labyrinth. It's one of the 2 extra cards that come in the deck, and it's the same as the images on the back. And then that's the Muse. They must have got mixed in. You have the regular court cards for the Pentacles. And then the Cups. That's really, really cool. I love that. It's like, you see how the moon or the eclipsed sun is like connected to the figure that's moving. It's a mysterious card to begin with, and then that one just kind of adds like a little something extra to it, you know. I don't know how that 8 got out of order. I was flipping them around though, so. I love that. The Fisher King. I took a class with Mary Greer recently, and she literally changed the way I see the minor arcana. Like, it was so profound that I'll never look at the minor arcana the same again. And I'm looking at these cards, I'm thinking, you know, because they basically tell a story, and it's very Masonic. The suit of swords tells the story of Hiram Abiff, basically, and Cups tells the story of the Fisher King. It's really, really interesting, and you can look into it. She's the widow, because in Masonry, which is where the story of Hiram Abiff comes from, they're called the widow's sons, you know, the widow's son, basically. Anyway, that's a really cool deck. I'm glad I got to show you. And now we're going to take a look quickly at the Tarot Morandi. So this is, like I said, Vincente Molina Pardo is the fellow's name. And like I said, this was a Kickstarter project. Almost didn't make it, you know. And I'm really glad that he put it back on there because it is a very cool deck. So I love the backs. The backs are really, really pretty. And it's just a very unique kind of deck. It's a very paper quality. It kind of has like a mass market feel to it. But it wasn't a very expensive deck. Like I've been noticing a lot of Kickstarter decks I've been getting are somewhat mass market. Used to be all like indie quality on there. Now you're getting some kind of like, you know, but they're different price ranges, you know. So like, you know, if I pay $50 for a deck or $60 for a deck, I want indie quality. But if I pay, you know, $26 or whatever, I don't expect it. You know? So it's really cool colors, very soft kind of color palette, almost pastel or like watercolor, and it's like wooden dolls, kind of like Pinocchio or something. But it's very Marseille, you know. In a lot of ways, it's Marseille. It has some kind of modern, esoteric tarot stuff in there, but for the most part, it's very, very Tarot Marseille looking. The pips are not exactly Marseille, but it's cool to have a pip. First of all, I don't see many pip decks on Kickstarter to begin with, so you know, I mean, like right now, there's a Tarot Marseille on there that is like sort of a mashup between Marseille and Rider-Waite-Smith. It's a fully, actually no, it doesn't have anything to do with Rider-Waite-Smith. It's just a fully illustrated Tarot Marseille. You know, and I thought to myself, like, they probably did that just to put it on Kickstarter because it just would never be successful otherwise. You know, it's hard to get a pip deck funded, I think. Certainly going in with the disadvantage. Really interesting artwork. The one thing I could have done without was both of the titles, but I knew that going in anyway. I did see them, the pictures of them and so forth, and you know, I don't mind it so much because I have the Spanish Tarot de Marseille by Fournier, which I love, and that has the English Spanish titles. So I don't mind so much, but you know, I wish in tarot, I wish we would just decide to use all French titles. I'd be fine with that, you know. Like have French be the universal language of tarot. But then for newbies, it wouldn't be good, so, yeah. Love that star card. And we have the moon. Beautiful sun card. Lots of really cool colors in there. Judgment, and El Mundo, the world. So it came with some extra cards that got mixed in here. These are yes and no question cards. I don't know that I would use these in a regular spread. I might use them in a certain fashion that's sort of extra, but a lot of times these extra cards, I love them, but I don't use them. You know, it's nice to get extra anything, you know. It's like you pay for 78 cards, you get a couple extras. It's always a plus. I mean, how can you complain about that? So you got all the twos together and all the threes. The aces are probably at the end. It's really interesting, you know. And I use pip decks a lot, so I do like it. I like the colors in this. And the card quality is not terrible. It's just kind of mass markety. You know what I mean? It's not fancy, but guess what? You know what I mean? It does the job. It's fine. And it's certainly not cheap quality. It's just very papery. And some of you might really like that, you know. And I would imagine this will be available for purchase. I'm just going to show you the rest this way. The core cards are probably, because I'm showing you all pips right now. Okay, yeah, the core cards are all together. Very pretty art style, and it's very unique and just different. I don't know how much I'm going to use this deck, though. I do like it, though. Here's the aces. Very cool art style. So that's the Tarot Morandi. And if there's a link to buy that, I will definitely link the Kickstarter page down below. I don't know if Vincente has a Kickstarter, I mean an Etsy shop or anything, but if he does, I will list that below. I appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. And until next time, love and peace, everyone. Bye-bye.